There's a large area which is research and learning about the weather, and then there's a bit about forecasting with it, but without that research and that knowledge, we would fall behind the mark with the actual forecasts that we're getting out there. Reading the thermometers, the temperatures, air pressures, doing aviation reports at the airports, and every 6 hours sending up a weather balloon. Generally we're putting them up every 6 hours at 9 AM in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 9 PM and 3 AM. We fill them full of hydrogen. As they go up in the atmosphere, as the air pressure gets less and less, the balloon gets larger and larger, so until it gets to a certain size that it eventually breaks. On the bottom of it, as far as the wind flight goes, we have a foam reflector for the radar, and the radar sends out a signal to the target, and we track that target as it goes through. So it hits the target, comes back. So using the old trigonometry, you can calculate how far it's travelled, how high it is, and the speed that the wind's flowing through that part of the atmosphere. I suppose one thing that we're looking at all the time with the weather is the more knowledge that we've got of the weather, of what's going on, the better we can predict what's happening in the future, and the better we can get those warnings out to people, which is the bottom line, is getting those warnings out to people when there's severe weather. There's limitations on some of the computer modelling that we use, and then there's other ones which are, the limitations are a lot less, and that's what we try to refine those. A lot of it comes through automatically, which gives us rainfall, wind speed and direction, temperatures. There's enough people who need to know that information, which is a long way away from Cairns. We don't get every tropical cyclone develops along the monsoon trough. It's just the potential that we're going to see the cyclogenesis, or the cyclones develop, is heightened during that period. The chances are we're going to see above average cyclone development through the region. That's a statistical package, and if you go back and look at it, 7 years out of 10, when we've had similar type patterns to what we're getting at the moment, we've had above average rainfall through the area, we've had above average cyclones develop in the Coral Sea. That still means 3 years out of 7 it hasn't happened. So it's putting it in perspective and understanding where that's coming from. Something like Yassi, yeah, whether you can say we're lucky, good management, yeah, you wouldn't like to see that crossing over between Port Douglas and Cairns. I think we'd still be repairing Cairns, or we would definitely still be repairing Cairns. Last year during Yassi we evacuated the office for 24 hours and then up and running again. Everyone should really be prepared, and it is the same thing that emergency management put out, the local council put out, and it doesn't matter how many times you drum it into people, they still wait till the last minute. But I find it exciting, I enjoy it. People go, oh, at times it must be a little bit boring, and you go, there's always something, and there's slow days and fast days, but generally I think I'm lucky. I go to work and 90% of the time I'm happy to go to work, which